Welcome to the second part of Preserving Your Memories, Organizing and Maintaining Your Collection with me, Rebecca Whalen, librarian here at Lakeland Public Library. Topics covered in this segment include sorting and arranging your collection, creating an inventory system for both your physical and digital collection, labeling your items, integrating new materials, editing and elimination, and long-term storage options. If this sounds like a lot of work, well, it is, but the process will result in a legacy collection that can be utilized for years to come. So roll up your sleeves and let's begin with organizing and maintaining your personal materials. First part of the organization process is to take stock of your collection. What do you actually have? What is alike? What is missing? Is it in different locations? This part can take the longest, of course, depending on how many things you have to sort through. A quick way to get organized is a sorting system. Shuffling things into piles is one way, but we recommend a simple 4-box technique. In a typical decluttering scenario, these would temporarily be labeled keep, toss, donate, and store. But each collection is different, so you will need to modify this system to fit your needs. If you need more categories, add more boxes. Here are some suggested categories. Broad topics such as family, friends, holidays, and school. Or by family surname, Smith, Jones, Meyer, Stewart. Or by geographic locations, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama. It is recommended that like items be grouped together, so another suggestion might be paper, photographs, media, and miscellaneous. Give this a try to get started. You have your groups of items, you can begin to arrange them in a way that makes sense to the materials. One suggestion is to put them into chronological order by date known or date suspected. If there are a lot of items, you might want to consider repeating the 4-box technique to your group. Alphabetical order is another way to arrange your materials. Since each collection is unique, you need to evaluate what way works best for your materials. These smaller groups of materials can be placed into folders, envelopes, sleeves, etc., whichever is most appropriate for that format. In going through your materials, you might find a large number of items in a miscellaneous or an unknown category. These can be evaluated for context to other items or just remain as a group to itself. Sometimes there are things you could possibly eliminate. Is it a duplicate? Is it relevant to the collection? Does it need to be repaired? Is it damaged beyond repair? Only you can determine this course. Most conservation work requires finding the right professional to help you, and there is an associated cost. You might also evaluate for what is missing in your personal collection, gaps chronologically or from individuals. This might inspire you to reach out to family to acquire more. Once you have your materials in order, they're ready to go back into a storage container as recommended in Part 1, where they will be protected from light, humidity, and other environmental concerns. For better access and retrieval, before they are put away, label each container. If it is only a single box, identify the contents by folders. To find items in the future, you need to recall where it is, hence labeling the outside of the container. The next step is to create an inventory. You can write out a list by hand or use a spreadsheet program on your home computer, such as Sheets or Excel. This sample shows one way of organizing your spreadsheet. Create broad topics, include container identification, and a date if known. You can also include more detailed information. As you acquire new materials, they can easily be added to your inventory list. These lists can be kept in a folder on your computer. Be sure to put a copy directly in the box too. If you already have a digitized copy of the materials, you can note it on this list and coordinate naming of your electronic files. Be sure to date your spreadsheet to know when it was last updated. With the collection identified, organized, enumerated, and placed into the labeled box, you are now into maintenance of the collection. Best archival practices recommend reviewing the items after a period of time depending on the nature of that item. For instance, if there's a variation in humidity, photographs can start to stick together. Glue or tape may lose its adhesiveness. So set up a time during the year to reevaluate these items just to make sure all is well and replace the silicone packets if needed. Make a plan in preparation for emergencies such as hurricanes, water intrusions, smoke or fire damage, or insect infestation. There are many variables to consider depending on where the collection is kept in the home. As previously recommended, an ideal spot is an elevated location in a closed space to minimize exposure to environmental impacts such as light or water. The only thing left to do is to decide if you want to digitize your collection in whole or in parts. You are probably digitizing materials now and may not even realize it. Many people use the camera on their phones to take important family photographs or retain paperwork in a PDF or Word document on your computer. These are referred to as born digital, meaning there was never a physical format of that item. It has always been digital. These files can be seamlessly added into your organization system. Here are a few reasons to digitize your paper, photographs, slides, and media. 1. Preservation. Duplicating your materials in a different format will decrease the handling of the physical items and decrease the risk of damage. 2. Duplication of original items. In an emergency situation, should you lose your physical collection, you would still retain the digital collection. 3. Sharing. It is easier to share digital formats with other family members, and digital files can easily be shared on DVD, by USB drive, or digitally. 4. Easy. With a bit of guidance, it is very easy to reformat your materials. This process varies by the format of the item. In summary, develop an organization system that works for your specific collection to ensure all of the items are identified and so you can retrieve them when needed. Knowing what you have helps take you to the next step, digitization. Lakeland Public Library is here to assist with your individual questions regarding organization of your personal archives. Reach out to the staff at the Lakeland History Room for assistance. Watch for the third segment of this series on digitization using the DIY Digitized Lab.